Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and this is Transport Fever 2, the second in my Get to Know series. I'm rather disappointed actually that private traffic travel in motor cars, whereas the public transport is still horse and carriage. Anyway, I just want to check the HUD here because there's one thing I don't like seeing, and that's negative numbers, so let's get rid of those straight away. Okay, right, where are we? Let's just pause this for a second. And in the first Get to Know episode, we looked at the basic sort of settings of the game to get us up and running. And we looked at passenger traffic on the road, sort of buses, or as it is at the moment, horse and cart. And we set up our bus stations in the towns of Tehran and Riyadh in my tropical custom map. We're using an Asian environment, so Asian town names and Asian vehicles, which at the moment are mostly Russian, but that's the way it is. So today's episode we're going to look particularly at trains, setting up train stations and building trains and delivering passengers between cities. And I had initially thought, when we first looked at the map, that these two fairly big cities, Shanghai and Taichung, might be a good place for a train. But then I thought, well actually, we've already got people running around in these towns. Let's use these two, they're quite close together. I mean, Phnom Penh isn't a great big city. And Riyadh is I think Riyadh is our second city. But while we're here actually, let's look at these figures. Are we seeing anything good here? So the destinations, that means we're growing 30%. So that's, I still don't quite understand what these figures mean. Does the context sensitive help me? No, not really. Oh, it does. So the window lists all the factors of town growth. To improve the factors, connect the town with public and private transport, deliver the needed cargo to the commercial and industrial area. We're not doing that at the moment. It's important to avoid overcrowded stations. We don't have that just yet, although as you can see there are quite a few people waiting at my bus stops. And avoid excessive emissions. And a tab shows where the inhabitants go to work. And they do. Right, so the good thing here is this is the chart I was looking at when I was deciding where to send my trains. As you can see here, we have people going to shop and work in Riyadh, and we're supplying buses for that. So 90% of those are using our transport system. And we have a lot of people, 78, going to Tehran, and that's our intercity route. Again, it's just horse and carriage, and we've got 78% of the people who go between those two cities, or between Riyadh and Tehran. 78% of those people are using our lines, which is most excellent. So let's look at Phnom Penh. Now I have set up a in-city bus route there. I just need to actually put some carriages on it. Now rather than getting the carriages all the way from that depot there, I was thinking let's put in another depot, a road depot here. And where can we put this which is reasonably cheap? Because the other thing to think about here is we've got quite a bit of industry around here, so I think we could use this as a starting point for our road-based cargo transport. So now we're going around there. Is that any cheaper from the other side of the road? No, so let's use it from this side of the road. Can I make this any cheaper? That looks quite cheap to me. That's good. Okay, come out of there. And I've set that route up, I think. So let's, Phnom Penh Circle. So we need to buy vehicles, and we'll stick, just as usual, 4 of our, not 41, just 4 of our horse and carts on there. And they're all going to go to Phnom Penh. That is right, isn't it? Where? No, they're not yet. Why are they not? That's interesting. Interesting. Ah, there it is. I'm always doing this in the game. I am just setting the eye there, so only show me lines that I can actually see in this part of the map. So let's disable that. So that's Phnom Penh. Right, so they're all going. Excellent. Right, let's get the game rolling on. So where do we want our train station? Let's see. So what I'll do is I will pause it again here, because I don't want town development to get in the way of showing these features. Okay, so all the building of tracks and stations and so on is all done through the rail icon here. So we're looking at buildings, and again we have passenger and we have cargo stations. And the thing to remember, as we saw in the development videos, the developer highlight videos, is that stations within Transport Fever 2 can be both freight and passenger. Can be both passenger and freight. That's just the other way around. So you can actually add platforms for the other type of cargo, as it were, to the station. So if we set up a passenger station here, we can actually build onto it cargo platforms. We're not going to do that just yet. We're just going to concentrate on passenger traffic. So I'm going to put 2 lines in here to start with. So we may eventually need 2 lines of 2 trains going here, and we could of course connect it to other cities in the region. Where should we? If we stick it down here, will be good. Now, can I connect it? There we go. Can I connect it to the bus stop? To the bus station there? I can. Again, notice there is no sort of road connection from the stations anymore. There's just these little indicators, these green indicators saying you have connection. And I'm not sure why we got 1 or 2. Well, I have sometimes seen, oh, there's 3 there. Does that mean it's better? Does it mean it gets further? Difficult to tell. I'm not sure it does. Okay, so we will find a good place for that, which isn't colliding with anything. Actually, can I turn it around a little bit? Something like that. That looks a bit cheaper, actually. Did I see 335? There you go. Let's take that. Okay, now we have our station here. If we click on it, we can configure the station. And here we can add in new passenger buildings, so we can plonk on one of these sort of connecting points different passenger buildings, or we can remove existing ones. Obviously this all costs money to replace it, so this is one way of turning a through station into an end station. So be this one here. We just stick it on the end there, and it suddenly turns into a terminal station as opposed to a through station. So you could actually have a mix of 2. So it could be a through station for passengers and a terminal station for cargo. It's equally cargo buildings. Yep, same difference there. Okay, we'll look at those in a bit later. But all I want to do for the moment is put this down and also get the other station in Riyadh configured as well. So we'll put it on this side of the city, I think. There's nowhere really to connect. We could connect it there, but I'm tempted to put it in here, in this blank space here. Just check the land use to see. There you go. So this green, this is actually his residential area. So this could be an issue with noise, emissions, that sort of stuff when this station gets large and very busy. So we'll have to look out for that. But for the time being, we'll plonk it down here anyway. Let's spin it around. Okay, it's sort of roughly that sort of direction, isn't it? There we go. That looks good to me. Excellent. Right, now the issue we have with this particular station is there's no road connection to it. Now if we look at putting road connections to this, let's take our country, our city road, our urban road. We use a middle speed one. Now the blue circle normally would mean, yeah, you want to connect there. but it's not strictly true. As you can see there, although I had a blue circle to start with, I couldn't connect. I need to be just outside the station area here. Not too close. Right, there you see, I see that connecting blue strip. So that's the connector. That means this bit of road is connected to the station. And the significant difference in terms of the visuals here that you see from Transport Fever, the first game, is the roads don't actually run into the station as such. You've got the pavement there. Generally speaking, that's what you'll see. So pedestrians will come up here and they will walk into the station using this connecting bit of path that is created off the pavement or sidewalk, if you wish, on this piece of road. So we won't do it just there. What will we do? I think we will, that's too close. If we run that up, we're just going to get the one, are we? I think that's fine. Okay, can we then connect this to that bit of road? That looks okay to me. I'm okay with that. And over here, whoops, there you go. We've got an issue there with, it's trying again, it's just trying to change the road styly. Can I? Oh, I can connect it out that way. That's good. That is very good. Okay, and I want to connect, can I connect it in here? Just like that. That's 106,000, 107,000, that's 2 buildings destroyed. That's a bit expensive. Can I just do it with just deleting 1 building? Oh, it looks like I can. If I do that, is that going to work? Am I going to be able to connect those 2 up? Yes, I can. It's not a terribly elegant piece of roadwork, but it does the job. You see where we're going. Okay, now in the Transport Fever 1, we used to have this thing where you had additional connections at the top and bottom of the station. Particularly for terminal stations, you'd have road connections going off one end and road connections going off the other. You don't here, as we've seen, you don't have road connections at all, but what you do have is you can configure your station, and these are miscellaneous street side entrances. These are little bits of there you are, place it on the blue. They are steps up onto the station platform, and it's to these that you can connect your extra bits of road for the side connection. So you could have as many of these along the station as you can. There are obviously certain key click points you can hit, but we can do that. We have underground passes. We're not going to need those yet, I don't think, for our stations. Click that there. Obviously putting it in position is going to be a bit tricky depending on the angle and where you are viewing it, but we're not worried about those yet, so we will leave that out. We'll just put the side steps in here. That's £2,000 for that. Stick you in there, and we don't need that anymore. Passenger buildings we've looked at, platforms and tracks, so we can actually run additional tracks just along here. Now, one thing you'll notice that we're not seeing here is curved stations. So we are losing, although we've got this fabulous modular station building mechanism, we are losing the ability at this point in time of creating curved stations, which is annoying. That's something I really liked having in Transport Fever. And there's something else we're missing as well, but we'll come to that in a second. So let's connect this with a little bit of a small side street can go up here. And there you are. And you see those little blue lines translate into a nice bit of concrete paving for people to get up to the steps. I think you can actually get that bit of road closer, but I've not done that today, so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, let's lay some tracks down. is excellent. Okay, we should have an overlay available to us now, which is track speed. I've got 75 throughout the entire length. That's most excellent. Right, so our next trick is to put a depot in here to get our trains purchased and placed on the line. And what I'm going to do, because I do expect at some point we will want to add 2 trains along here, we'll put 2 track in here. And what we'll do, we'll put a little crossover in here. And this works very much like it did in Transport Fever. You've got this nice indicator here of where the switch actually is. And again, it sort of clicks to the adjoining point on the other side of the tracks, so you sort of know where to start and stop the crossover. Okay, so we'll put that in there. And I think if we put our depot up here, buildings, depot. Don't know if you can hear it, but I'm getting quite a nice sort of twangy country kind of song in this soundtrack. Not sure it's entirely tropical, but can I make this? Oh, there was 19 grand there. That looks good. Nice and cheap. Let's put that there. Okay, let's put some extra track in. There's the track. And we want this depot obviously to serve both tracks at the station, both platforms. So can we? Yep, we can do that there. That's excellent. And we can, of course, double slip. Just click on the junction there, the switch, turn it into a double slip, which means that trains can go in and out of that depot from either track. Not in either direction, but from either track coming out of the Riyadh station. Signals. We don't really need signals here, to be honest, but let's be thorough. And this obviously shows off something else, which we actually saw when we were placing bus stops in the previous episodes. Direction arrows. So you can actually see in which direction of travel the trains will be approaching the signal and that they will affect. And if you put them in the middle of the track, if you wanted to sort of create a left-hand drive rail system, which I have done in the past in my previous Transport Fever series, again it shows you the arrows so you know which direction you're travelling in, which is very handy. So we'll put that there, and here we'll put signals there. We won't put it there because otherwise if a long train stops going into the depot it could block 2 tracks there, and so we will put you there approaching the junction. Okay, we're only going to put 1 train on there, so I'm not going to worry about double tracking the other side. We don't need that amount of money yet. Okay, let's get the game running and let's get some trains ordered. Buy some up. Before I do that, I did this mistake last time. Interesting though, actually, if you're looking here on the vehicle manager, when you come to assign vehicles to a route, I don't think you can create a new route. Should we try that actually from the vehicles list? So let's buy our vehicles. I've currently got just over 3 million in the bank, so I don't want too expensive. Oh, I've got quite a few trains. We're still steam, and these are again basically all Russian vehicles. I'm sure there are some other Asian nationalities represented, but at the moment just Russians. These are all quite expensive. That's the cheapest one. It is significantly slower though. Let's go cheap just for the sake of argument. So we'll add you to our consist down here, and passenger wagons. Only the one at the moment, the Putilov, and that goes 20 miles an hour faster than the locomotive. So it's kind of a waste of money. So this carriage is far better than the locomotive that's pulling it. In fact, you can tell from the build date, 1890. The locomotive was 1863. That was a GV, wasn't it? Hover over it and tell me. Oh, it's not going to tell me anymore. It was a GV, I'm sure it was. Okay, so we'll add 2 of those. It carries 14. Oh, I did this when I was playing around with the game before. I'm buying things before I've added them to the consist. So let's go back in here, buy vehicles. I want to add those. There you go. Add those. We just need to... Can I move that to that? Can I combine those two? That's interesting. I'm not sure if I can. Can I do... Ooh, this is a very good question. I'm not sure. Can you combine those two together? Wow. Is this a limitation we have in our current game? That we can't put trains together here. We need to buy them. Okay, so we will sell all this and do it again properly. So we've got 2 wagons down there. Let's add a locomotive to them. Add there. That's it. And let's buy that. Excellent. So 1 locomotive and 2 passenger wagons. We'll put this. Yeah, we don't have the ability, by the look of it, to create lines from within the vehicle management tool. Again, which is a limitation compared to what we had in Transport Fever, the original, if you will. Okay, so let's create our new line. It's going to go from there, from Riyadh into Phnom Penh. So we can go to our vehicle manager, to the train depot, and we will assign you to line 1, which I will now name correctly, appropriately. I need to be in the line manager to do that. And this is Riyadh to Phnom Penh. Can I spell that correctly with an H on the end? Too many H's. There you go. So there's our train. Looking good. And the configure vehicle option here just takes us back in here. So this is basically where we can clone it, sell it, replace it, set the maintenance level, or change the colour of the wagons. First steam train has arrived at the station. Another lovely achievement. And do we? Oh, we have passengers waiting here already for the buses to turn up, the stage coaches. That's excellent news. Oh, you're just an ordinary person. Okay, while we're looking at ordinary people, let's actually have a look at a person in here. Can I find a person? Ah, there's one. Oh, there's a few, in fact. Okay, Huawei. I'll assume that's how it's pronounced. Unfortunately, I've got an Asian environment, and my ability to pronounce Asian names is, to say the least, limited. Now, what can we tell about this person? We know where they live. They live in Phnom Penh. That residential building, one of those residential buildings there. And they are going to... Where are they going? They're going home. By using one of my carts. That's fine. Now, we're not seeing here a differentiation between cheap and fast, which is how passengers were differentiated in Transport Fever. So quite what the logic here is, I'm assuming it's a more complex algorithm where passengers decide where they can go in terms of cost, speed, comfort, emissions, overcrowded stations. So there's more for the passengers, for the maths to do behind the game to work out how people want to travel. Okay, so let's have a look at our destinations again here. Okay, residents are going up. Destinations. We're getting people going to Riyadh now. And all the people going to Tehran are using our lines. Tehran is our city the other side of the bay. So this is really good. In Riyadh, it's much the same. Destinations. We're getting good pick. Look at that, 86%. That's excellent. Right, so that's basic passenger train and station setup. And we will be looking at... should we look at cargo for the next Get to Know episode? I think we will. And in fact, we might even add cargo to one of these stations. So a quick check of the accounts. Actually, no, let's look here at our vehicle status. That's industry stats. Vehicle status. Okay, we're using blue and red to indicate profit and loss. And as you can see, we do have some vehicles, 4 grand already from that one stagecoach in Tehran. Our intercity route, that's going to take a little longer to make money because it's a much longer route, obviously, and the train has just started. But look at the costs on that. Yeah, the costs are expensive in this game. Something to worry about. Okay, our line manager. Yeah, the Riyadh Circle. Yeah, our 2 inner city routes are they were making money very briefly. One came back, but if we look at our overall accounts, we'll look at this in more detail in a future episode. But as you can see, we are making money, just about on road. But it's just the maintenance, which is actually no, it's total. We are making a total of profit there of $203. That is most excellent. And our charts. Yeah, we've only been running for a year so far, so not much to tell there. We'll look at those in a future episode. But for now, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Transport Fever 2 Get to Know, looking at trains and passenger stations. Oh, we've got a passenger on there already. Let's watch him as he goes through. This is the onboard camera view. Rather nice. As we go towards Phnom Penh. So we'll leave this here. Once again, thank you very much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, it'd be great to hear from you, either by a thumbs up, a little bit of a like, or even better, if you've got something to say, comments, suggestions, recommendations, any thoughts you have on the game and what we're doing in these episodes. It'd be great to hear from you. Just drop it out into the comments box below. And of course, if you've not already done so, please do subscribe to the channel. And that way you'll know when I upload another one of these or any of my other series on Ajaxpost Plays. But from me, here in Transport Fever 2, until the next time, bye bye for now.